Hello, everyone. My name is Dustin Limberg, and I'm Dustin the Blind Minnesotan. And today I want to talk about the Reemo smartwatch. The Reemo smartwatch is a smartwatch made for disabled people and senior citizens. Reemo Health is a company located in the North Loop neighborhood of downtown Minneapolis. And so from their building, you can see Target Center, Target Field. You see a big fancy hotel. There's like around their headquarters, there's a bunch of high-end restaurants, fancy condos, fancy apartments. Behind their building is the Mississippi River. And I did all this research, and Remo Health, their focus is keeping disabled people and senior citizens healthy and exercising. This is how the watch looks like. It is what they do is they take a Samsung watch and they remove the Android hardware on it and software, and they put their own software on it. So this watch they have is water resistant. So I have tested it, and you can shower with it. It can, if like you get dressed in the bathroom and you actually drop it in a sink full of water, it will not be damaged. Um, it's a very, very nice watch. Um, I got it from them, and disabled people and senior citizens or older, wiser people, whatever you want to call them, um, or baby boomers, they can get this service for free through medical assistance. Or if they don't, or they can't get it through free through medical assistance, they can try getting it through their Medicare. And if Medicare says no, you can go to their office or call them their office directly and ask for one, and you can pay them directly. Um, and their phone number is right here on the sheet that they mail you, and their phone number is 877-697-3366. I'll say it again. Their phone number is 877-697-3366. And that number will take you to a Remo call center lady or man, depends on which one you get, and they will help you set up the service through your Medicare, through your medical assistance, or through private pay. Um, a lot of I tried this watch 3 times, and I wore it all day, and it's a pretty good watch for basic. It's a very basic watch. Um, it's so basic that it's sometimes ridiculous how basic this watch is. But remember, this watch is made for seniors, baby boomers slash wiser people, or whatever you want to call them. So and disabled people who can't handle a watch like the Apple Watch or the Fitbit or the Garmin. So, or the Google Pixel Watch or the Apple Watch. So this is also made for lower function disabled people who can't handle using a regular smartwatch. So let me turn it on and then see how it says Samsung right there. So that's how they busted themselves who makes their watch. But their software is definitely not Samsung. And then see how it says like it's the watch is powered by Samsung. And then when the watch, see this button right here is to call the police. And this button right here is to turn off and on the watch. This watch does not, from Reemo, does not require a cell phone. This watch from Reemo has LTE built into it. So when you call the I need help button, see how it says Reemo's loading right there? So then as you push this button, your call will reach to like an operator, and the operator will then call the police and tell them your location, where you are, and all that stuff. So when you pops up, you get the time and the date. And then when you let me move over here. And then when you slide it over, you get your heart rate because right now no one's wearing it. So it's like, what's going on here? And then I'll tell you how much feet you walk today. And then I'll tell you how much it is. And this is Dustin Lindbergh. I'll explain to you what that it does in a minute. And then boom, back to time. It just tracks your walking, it tracks your heart rate, and that's it. Just your heart rate, your walking, and that's it. And if you need emergency assistance, you can push this button here, and then it'll connect you to a Reemo agent. And then the Reemo agent will call the police or call the ambulance or call your children. If you're an older person, you give Reemo your children data. If you push that help button, when like you get to the dispatcher, they can also call your children instead of the cops or the ambulance or whatever for you and say, hey, this person is right here or right there or whatever happens. And my watch is a little bit. See, if you went to them and you to their office said or called them and say, "Hey, I want one of these," they have different features, like different calling features and different features than what I have. And Reemo does not have an app. So what happens is with Reemo, they only have website for some stupid reason. And the website is for the loved ones of the disabled person or the senior citizen to see where they walked today, how far they walked. It's not so the website's not really made for the person wearing the watch. The website is made for the loved ones of the people wearing the watch. So it's for example they can, and if you fall it will detect it too, and then it will call the people. See, and then I just got a message from them, probably because I'm waving it like a man. Okay, so it's charge watch daily, wear watch at night. So they know you don't fall, you're not falling. And then you hit that like that and you say thanks. So then like that's a good example. If like you do private pay with a company, you can send messages through your loved one through the watch, just like what the company did with me. Because I haven't been wearing it the last few days because I like my Apple Watch better, and they will send you messages through the watch saying, "Hey, remember to put on the watch and walk. Hey, never put on the watch and walk. Hey, never put on the watch, walk and walk." And watch and walk. And because I'll tell you why it does that in a minute. But if you go and private pay by yourself, your family can text you through the watch. Like they can say, "Hey Dustin, remember come home by 8 o'clock to eat," and I can text back. The keyboard will pop up in the watch. I can text back "okay" through the watch, and then the watch will send it to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher will send it to the loved one. So it's a very good like product if like you have like a senior parent that likes to wander, or you have a disabled kid who just likes to wander during the day while like you're at work or whatever. It's a very good for that, and then you can communicate them, and you can see through the Remo app where they are, how far they walked. It'll even tell you where they walked. It will show you like from step to step. Like for example, will show them, for example, I left my apartment, went to Dairy Queen. It will show them how long I stayed at the Dairy Queen. And then, oh, okay, he walked across the other side of Central, went to the Hardware Hanks. Okay, now he stood at Hardware Hanks for whatever amount of minutes. And then he walked up to the city hall. And then he was at the city hall for this many minutes. And then it's kind of creepy because it'll track everything they do and everything where they went and how long they've been there in that one spot. But it's good if like you have someone like with seniors or really bad disabilities, because you know, okay, they're safe and they're hanging out in a safe spot. At least I'm hoping the city hall will be a safe spot. But um and then it'll tell you how fast they're going. Like when I took it on the bus the other day, it would ask me if it was okay because I went from 2 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour because I hopped on the bus. So it asked me, "Are you okay?" Because it's realizing why is he finally going from slow to like super like 30 miles an hour. And I hit yes, and then okay, no, we won't call dispatcher for you. And I'm like, and I hit good. So then I don't need the dispatchers calling the police because I hopped on a bus. So so it's so it's really good. It's really good for that. And the watch, you can do it with three ways of doing it. You can do it through your Medicare. You can do it through your you can pay sorry you can pay for it through your Medicare. You can pay through it through your medical assistance, or you can private pay. So if you want to pay for through it through your Medicare, you have to call like the down Social Security hotline for that, because Medicare is controlled by and Social Security share the same kind of number. And and each person's Medicare plan is different. So my Medicare can cover it, as and Sally, my neighbor's Medicare plan, for example, won't cover it, because the government provides different Medicare plans slash federal healthcare plans based on the person's age, their disability, are they not disabled, are they just old? You mean, so they'll give you different kind of Medicare plans. And then when it comes to medical assistance, you mean you want to call your county worker and say, hey, I want this Remo smartwatch for my kid. Who can I call? Who manages my medical assistance? So I can call them and ask them if I can get the smartwatch for my kid or my elderly parent, or whatever situation you have going on there. Um, and then they will then like you can hook up with that person and ask, hey, can you cover this watch for me? That's how the way I got it is because I get medical assistance for disability people who are working, because I work and I make some money, and I'm disabled. I get medical assistance for employed people, or another way I like to call it, for medical assistance for people who work. And so medical assistance for people who work, or medical assistance for people who are disabled and employed. Um, that that is to encourage disabled people like me to work, you know, like part time or full time, and they give it to disabled people who work full or part time, whose employers don't give out insurance. So yeah, so then I got this because through my medical assistance for people who are disability and working. Um, so when they mailed it to me, it came in a box like this. It came in a white box, just a plain white box, and then you open it, and then inside you get a watch, the Samsung watch charger, and you get instructions of how the watch works. And then you get this cheesy magnet to remind you to exercise every single day. So if you pay for it privately, your loved ones will be able to access all your data, how much you're walking, can contact you through the watch. Because I get mine through medical assistance, mine works differently. So I go through a company called Medica. They're the ones who control my medical assistance. So Medica sent me out the watch. And what happens is because Medica is paying for this watch, Medica gets all my health data. So every time I walk, every time I leave my house, every time I put on this watch, all of that data gets sent to Medica, my health insurer. And then Medica can say, okay, Dustin's walking this much miles a day. Dustin's going to these places. Dustin is doing this kind of stuff. And because Medica's paying for it, the more I walk and exercise, the more data I give them. Like, okay, I even give them my heart rate because number tracks even your heart rate. So when I'm walking and when my heart rate's up, Medica will get that data. And then Medica says, okay, because you're exercising, we're going to charge you less for insurance. And when they charge me less for insurance, it saves me money. But the negative is Medica then can see everywhere you're going, how long you're exercising for, when you're exercising, what time of day it is, how fast are you walking, and stuff. And then Medica, when I signed the agreement, when I got the watch, it literally says that you should read the fine print, people. It literally says that Medica can sell that information to anonymously to promote ads. So since I started this watch, I got ads. I'm starting to get ads for DSW, starting to get ads from Foot Locker, starting to get ads because they ship it to your place because these companies want to know, okay, this disabled man, he's always walking around shoe stores and he's walking so much. Oh, that means he soon needs a new pair of shoes. Or when they realize you walking to Dairy Queen a lot, you're gonna get Burger King ads or Dairy Queen ads like in the mail and stuff. So that's how Medica makes up their money for paying for this watch for you. And then Medica also knows that, hey, if you're exercising every day, you're going to less chance go to the doctor, saving them money too, keeping them in profit. And then also because I get it through my Medica can send me messages like through the watch, and only Medica can send you messages through the watch because Medica is the one paying for it. And Medica can say, number Dustin, you need to exercise today. Oh, number Dustin, you should exercise an hour a day. Or, hey Dustin, are you the daytime I got on the bus? Hey Dustin, do we need to have them call someone have to call you, make sure you're okay? Or you mean so then Medica sends out those messages. And then because even when Medica is still paying for it, I can push the I need help button right here. And then it will connect me to the Reemo center people, and then the Remo center people can call the police, the ambulance, and all that for me. And according to Remo, Medica is paying $12.99 a month for me to have access to this watch. And when you're done using the watch, pretend if like you're like me and you say, nope, the watch is done. I don't want the watch anymore. You have to call them. The number, let me read it off to you again, is 877-697-3366. You have to call them and request a return box, even when like you're private paying for it. You have to get a return box and then ship it back to them, or they're going to charge you for the full cost of the watch, even if you were paying them, monthly for it. So it's almost like you don't own the watch, you're renting the watch. Um, and then I used it, and for someone that's senior disabled that doesn't really leave the house much or really doesn't exercise much, and this watch is good to help them move. But someone like me I can hop on a bus, I can swim, I can rock climb, I can bike, though this watch is not made for me because this watch only does steps, heart rate, and the time of the day. So someone like me, even a $60 Fitbit or $60 Garmin, like the cheapest, most simple smartwatch, can do more than this Reemo watch. So, and then when you don't want the service anymore, you can't even keep the watch. So Medica is paying $12-ish a month to pay for this watch for me to use it. And when I'm done with the service, I can't even keep the watch. I have to like send it back. So Medica is paying like rent for this watch. And if you go to this company separately, you're paying rent for the watch. So I'm almost like I almost want to tell people that the only thing that's worth this watch is the LTE network connectivity to a call center. So if you're someone with a disability or seniors, they need help, they can push the button, get access to the call center, and boom, they have someone. That's the only thing that makes this watch worth it. Sorry to say, but what I discovered was by digging some research. If you just bought the Samsung Galaxy Watch or high-end Fitbit or a high-end Google Pixel watch or an Apple Watch, there's companies that you can download an app onto the watch that if as long as you have LTE on the watch, that if you fall or whatever, you can click on the app on the watch and it will call a center support person. And the app on the smartwatch will track everything, everywhere your senior or disabled person goes, just by downloading this app onto the watch. And to me, I told my mother if I want a watch that can call the police and all that for me, I would just go to T-Mobile and just say, hey, I want to buy an LTE Apple Watch. And then they'll just say, okay, and I'll just pay T-Mobile $10 to $12 a month to put LTE on my Apple Watch. So then if I want to go for a run, I can just bring my watch and stream my Spotify, my Apple Music, and my podcasts all from my watch because it has LTE on it now. Or if I fall, boom, and my phone's not nearby, the Apple Watch can just call the police and tell the police where my location is. Because right now is if you only get the Bluetooth version of the Apple Watch, if you fall, there's no way for the watch to call the police because your phone's not close by. Because your watch connects to your phone through Bluetooth. And if you fall and your phone's not nearby, the watch has no way to call the police. But if you get an LTE watch and if you fall, the 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 watch will connect to the cell towers and call the police for you. Even cheap Fitbits can connect to like LTE networks. Just go to Best Buy and say, hey, I want a cheap Fitbit that can connect to LTE. And Best Buy can even help you connect it to T-Mobile and all that day. And then if you get a cheap Garmin, even a cheap Garmin, they can connect to LTE. If you buy like a cheap Google Pixel, you can connect it to LTE and all that stuff. Um, so my advice pretty much is just buy your family pretty much like a Google Pixel or phone watch or something and just and then if they fall or they want to call you, they can say, "Hey S lady, please call blah blah blah." Or "Hey G lady, please call blah blah blah." Even the Amazon watches can connect to LTE. "Hey A lady, please call blah 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 blah." You mean? And then the watch, because it's connected to LTE, will connect to their contacts in the iCloud and call for them. And then if you add your senior parent or disabled parents to your iCloud account slash iTunes account, you can actually go into Find My and find the Find My app, at least with iPhone, and you can find out where your family members are. Or in the same thing, Google does the same thing and Samsung does the same thing, but I don't know how those companies do it because I'm not that kind of phone user. But but this is when I'll say to get the watch. If you want your medical assistance to pay for it or your Medicare to pay for it, if they're willing to pay for it, get the watch because it will save you money because the money is coming out of everyone else's taxes to pay for it and not out of your personal savings. So I'm gonna say the only time they really get this watch is if you don't have a smartwatch and if they're willing to pay through it through medical assistance or Medicare. But if medical assistance and Medicare says, nope, we're not paying that watch for you, say, nope, I'm not getting the Reemo watch then. Because in my opinion, the Reemo watch is only worth it if you don't have to pay for it out of your own pocket. Just pay for it with taxpayer money. And if the government and taxpayer money doesn't want to pay for it, it just tells you that's not worth it. So that's when you just go and you go to Best Buy. I advise you go to Best Buy because Best Buy, they'll try on the watches. Also Micro Center. There's another store called Micro Center. If you go to Best Buy or Micro Center and say, hey, I want to get a cheap smartwatch, you can walk around their store and there's an associate there. They'll let you try them on, and so then like you can look, oh, this is how this looks like on my wrist. Because before I bought my Apple Watch and I wanted to figure out what brand smartwatch I wanted, I went to Best Buy and I tried on the Visa 3, hated the way that thing looked, but my mom liked it. And then I tried the Garmin's on and like, not me. And then I'm like, to me, like the Apple Watch is not the most prettiest watch in the universe, but I just got it because it was Apple and it matches perfectly with Apple. So if I put LTE on this thing, I can stream my iTunes library over the internet. I can call my mother over the LTE on my watch or whatever. So I'm like, one day when I actually get more money, if I decided to become more athletic, I can just pay for LTE on my Apple Watch, and then I can just leave my phone at home, and I can call my mother, have phone calls with my mother, listen to music or whatever when I'm outside, not needing my phone. But for now, I just have the Bluetooth version because I don't have. Right now, I'm broke. That's why I only have the Bluetooth version. And so my opinion is, please don't pay for the Remo. Please don't private pay for the Remo. Please don't. Unless like if like you're a young disabled person, don't pay for the Remo. Just have your parents buy you like an Apple Watch or any kind of other watch and just track you through that. Um, but if you have a senior person with dementia in your family and they don't, you never know where they are, they keep escaping and all that stuff, this watch might be worth it. Might be worth it. And I made this video because I was trying to research Reemo Health, and they don't have. There's barely nothing about them online. There's only one article from CNET from 2015, and a YouTube video released by them themselves promoting their watch. Only one. And this company, this Reemo company, is so horrible at their marketing. Like, I spent like maybe 1 or 2 hours yesterday, an hour 2 days ago before, try to find things about this company. But Remo Health is such a secretive company, and they don't post things on their YouTube channel about how they download software onto these watches. They don't post any of that stuff, or it makes sense because they don't want their competitors to know it. But then it feels like they're more sleazy. If they say okay, if they didn't tell us how the software was programmed, if they say, hey, this is how like we download our fresh software onto the Samsung Galaxy Watch, it'll make them feel like more transparent. Or hey guys, or upload it to their YouTube channel. Hey guys, this is how our offices inside look like. Because think about Google, you don't know everything about their offices, but you can kind of, but they share you kind of like the main picture. Like Apple, they don't show you their offices underground, and they don't show you like the labs where they build shit, but they at least show you where how the cubicle area looks like. Like Apple One Park. Apple is so transparent on how their headquarters is. They tell you, oh yeah, you walk in and you're in this big massive lobby, and up here we have all these beautiful white cubicles and blah blah blah, and then in the middle we have this big freaking community garden. And you mean like Apple and Google and Facebook and Microsoft, they're so transparent, and even Amazon, they post their headquarters on YouTube. This is how it is. This is the community around our headquarters, and you mean. And then you have companies like Remo here, where you can't even find a local news article about them. Like most like Minnesota companies, even small ones, there's like even the local press like MN Post or Bring Me the News or the Star Tribune or the Twin Cities Business Journal or the St. Paul Pioneer Press or the Twin Cities Pioneer Press or Hometown News, the Elk River Star. Most other businesses in Minnesota, they go to a local newspaper and try to promote themselves and say, hey, this is our company. This is what we're about. We're Minnesotan. Yay, pride. Go Minnesotan. Woohoo, we're the best company in the universe. Boo our competition outside of Minnesota. Yay, Minnesota. Woohoo. This Remo company, it's, in my opinion, it's also sneezy. It's also sleekly. And then to me, I don't trust them because I don't know really anything about them. They're not open. Like Apple, I know Apple is probably using my exercise data to promote Apple Fitness Plus. Google's probably using with their Android watches is probably using that data to promote, oh, Dustin likes shoes, let's show him shoe ads on YouTube or shoe ads on the search engine. I trust even Google, who's using my data to sell ads, more than I trust Remo. I trust Google, who's selling my data to make a profit off me, more than Remo. Because Google is very, this is our headquarters. We're building another one in Austin. This is how it's going to look like. This is how our headquarters here looks like. I feels like these other companies, even Best Buy, Target, Health Partners, I mean, these big, they're even more transparent and more vocal about their company than Remo is. Because when I can barely find anything about your company and you're expecting me to wear it and give you and Medica every single walking data, every single time I walk, every single time my heartbeat goes up, if I'm supposed to give you that data and trust you with that data, I want to know more about your company. I want to know how your offices look like. Who is the CEO? Who's the chairman board of the money? You mean, are they even making a profit? You mean, look at Spotify is a good example. They have all these music labels putting the money into their company, their big trading company, and they're still not making money. You mean, are they even making money? You mean, if I invest in this company, is this company going to make money? You mean it's, and when I called them to try to return the watch, okay, I try to return this because I told them I wanted to give the watch to someone who really needs it, right? Them to get it, clear out my data. You mean I called them 2 months ago asking for a return box. And then they said, sure, yeah, blah, 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 we'll give it to you. We give it to you. And then I went on my vacation. I was down in Florida about a month and a half. Came back and my box was still not there. I asked my apartment, oh yeah, oh no, that box was never delivered. But because I told my apartment if I got it, can they hold it for me? You know what I mean? They said, no, 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 we didn't ever get it. And I called them. They didn't even send out the box yet. And then I called them, can you please send the return box again? And they said, sure. Another 2 or 3 weeks go by, no return box. So the other day I called them again and asked for a return box. I almost want to tell them, hey, your office is only a half an hour bus ride from my place. Can I just take the bus there, hand it through the freaking your front door, and then take the bus back home? That's what I almost want to tell them because they're being ridiculous when it comes to returning the watch. And it makes sense because if I still have it, they can charge Medica 10, 12, 12.50 a month ish. And then they can still make money, but as long as I have the watch, they can keep on charging Medica. And I feel that's wrong. They're scamming Medica out of money that they could be using to pay for something else. And that money is coming from the federal government. So they're pretty much scamming Medica, and then Medica is accidentally scamming the federal government for something I'm not using. And uh, and every time I call them, the staff lady says, "Oh, the support team's not out. The support team's not. The support team's out. The support team's out." I'm like, "Your support team has been out for the last 4 months. When are they coming in?" You mean I just want to give you back the Remo watch so then you can give the watch to whoever really needs it because I'm staying with my Apple Watch. If I don't go with Apple, I'm going with Garmin. If going with Garmin, I'm going with Google Fitbit. If I'm not going with the Google Fitbit, I'm going with the Google Watch. And you mean I'm the biggest part is I also don't trust this company because they're not a transparent company. Like, of course, I don't expect you to put, oh, Dustin Lindbergh, our patient, blah, 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 did this many walks on YouTube. No, no, that's breaking HIPAA. But you can still say, hey, this is how our office looks like inside. This is the person who started the company. This is oh, the person who started the company is from this area of Minnesota or from this state. This is why they started the company. You know what I mean? And post those videos on their YouTube channel. Go to Star Tribune and say, hey, can we pay you to make a piece about us? And then the Star Tribune or MN Post or Bring Me the News or Hometown News or The Patch, you mean, or the Elk River Star writes an article about them. You mean? And then so then more people can know about the watch. Because I feel like this Reemo company is like a slimy Chinese or Indian scam company. That's how it feels like in my head. But they must be somewhat legit because the federal government slash Medica is giving them money. And the reason why I am speaking out with this, because I don't see any blind vision impaired journalists writing about this company. None. Blind Abilities is not writing about this company. The Blind Life is not writing about this company. And Blind Abilities, the guy who runs that podcast lives in Fridley, Minnesota. He should know. He should know about this program. The Blind Life, he's in a different state. I don't blame him for not knowing. Blind to Billionaire, he's a blind Minnesotan. He should be talking about this stuff, but he's not. Um, Legally Sighted Gamer on YouTube, Jesse, he's blind and he's in Minnesota and he's not talking about this watch. So I'm releasing this podcast episode talking about this Reemo watch because if it's a scammer purposely making cheap, shitty product to scam the federal government, Minnesota, and Medica, it needs to be investigated and talked about. If they're a legit company, it needs to be talked about. If they're truly helping the disabled community and the senior community, it needs to be talked about. This company needs to be talked about because it feels like it just came out of nowhere. Magically, it's getting money from Medica. Magically. Why cannot Medica just buy us Fitbits? Why can Medica not just go to Best Buy, buy everyone they watch and take care of Fitbits and say, hey, just send us screenshots of your exercise? Why did they not do that? Why did Medica go and say, hey, everyone, woohoo, if you buy a smartwatch of your choice, up anywhere between $150 to $300, we'll give you a 50% discount if you mail us in your receipt. They could have done a bazillion other things, but instead, and went with more legit watch exercise companies than with Reemo. Um, so I just wanted to release this episode or podcast episode talking about. I know if you're listening, you can't really see the watch I've been showing, but at least you know it exists because Reemo is a weird company, and I just want to tell you what they're about, so then you can go and research them. They're called Reemo Health, and you guys can go and research them yourselves. You can dig, see if this company's worth it, see if this company's worth helping the disabled, see if this company's worth investing in. And then I'm hoping someone like Jeff from Blind Abilities, or the Blind Life from that Sam, or Blind to Billionaire Matt that lives out in Oka, or Legally Cited the Gaming Channel by Jesse that lives in St. Paul, can figure all this stuff out. Well, because this is going to help the blind and vision impaired community or in the disabled community, or this company's really going to hurt us, and the U.S. government just put thousands of dollars in a company that they could just every month that they could just buy us all Fitbits for $60 each and save thousands of dollars in the long run. Well, I hope you guys have a good day. Bye bye.